and welcome to Sports Talk on this beautiful Tuesday evening. We are live on the WJRG television network. I'm Dr. Jerry Green, along with my good friend, Big Don from Big Don Production. The show is being produced by Big Don. What's up, my brother?
Everything's good. Everything's good.
And also to my right, we got the legend, the one and only Bruce Austin.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up, my brother? How you doing?
Another beautiful day, brother.
Another beautiful day. All right. All the way in Maryland. We got two guys in Maryland. We got my brother-in-law, Larry Pearson. What's up, Larry?
Doing good.
Doing good? And one of the
Yes,
greatest
sir.
bishops in the world, Bishop Ernest Richard. What's up, Bishop? How you doing?
Paying the bills, getting it done.
All right. All the way in Florida, Jacksonville. How's the weather down there, Andy?
Hot, but it's good. How's everybody?
All right. The only brother, Henry Green, is with us tonight. And our sports legend, Anthony McLean. What's up, my brother? How you doing?
Doing good.
We missed you Friday night, man. I wasn't on either, but I missed you Friday. And every moment moved. Kendall Tyson, what's up, bro?
What's happening, gentlemen?
All right, good to see you guys face tonight. Good to be back with y'all again. We're going to start with the game two, with the Pacers and the Thunder. 123-107 blowout. Let me start with you, Bruce. Was you surprised that the Thunder came back the way they did on that game?
No, I expected them to.
Okay.
Especially when they lost the first one at home.
Heartbreaker.
You know what I mean? I expected them to. They really did something that third game, man. They were putting something on them.
Oh, yeah. Well, the third game when that's tomorrow night, right?
I thought that was the third game.
That was
the second game.
That's the one they was up 40, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when they put the scrubs in. I know they was up about 40 one time.
They was up 40.
Okay.
What you think, Don, about game two?
Well,
Was you impressed with SGA on them?
Yeah, it went just the way I expected it because every time they lose game one, they come back with vengeance on game two.
Oh,
That was the other team they beat that they had that 40 on.
I thought they had 40.
They might have. They might have, but they always come back with a vengeance. So this went the way I expected it to.
Well, let me talk to my sports legend. Anthony, was you? I mean, all of us picked, except for you, Bruce. You picked Indiana.
Yes, sir.
They both picked OKC. So, Anthony, was you impressed with OKC in game two?
Well, yeah. Well, they had to win that one. After blowing the lead in game one, they could not go back. They couldn't go back to Indiana down 0-2. They, basically you saw what we've been seeing all year with them on both sides of the ball, and most importantly, they made Halliburton a non-factor in the game. That, to me, that was the biggest key.
That's true. What about you, Henry? Talk about game two a little bit.
Yeah, well, game two, OKC did what we expected. And also, really, if you look at it, the whole series, the first two games, they were winning the whole series except for the last 3 seconds in game one. So I predicted them to win in 6. I'm still going to stick to that because the way it's looking, it might Indiana might not win another game.
But look at this box score here with SGA and Caruso in game two. He had 34 points and Caruso had 20 points. That was a big help right there.
Yeah, but I tell you something else too. Caruso, he's showing all the way since the Denver series that he's a top-notch defender.
He came for the Lakers, right? Yeah.
He was holding the Joker in the Denver series, remember?
Yeah. So go ahead, Larry. What you think about your boys, OKC?
OKC played a really good game, but you cannot put Indiana down. Indiana came back. Indiana missed a lot of their 3-pointers, but Indiana is a match. Indiana got the firepower where they can hang with them, but I think Oklahoma got a little too much firepower, and they can't get up and down with OKC the whole game. But Indiana's a good foe, and the game's gonna be tight. It ain't gonna be no blowout.
Go ahead, Bishop. Let's talk about OKC, man. You picked them as well.
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. I have to agree with what's been said to this present point in time, but Indiana isn't really the match that you think that they are. They're good, and they have a possibility, but they need OKC to make mistakes. They need OKC to turn the ball over. OKC's defense is too much. When they play the bigs together out there, they not only neutralized Halliburton, but they also neutralized Siaka. And they kept their bench players from doing any serious damage. Those last 3 minutes of each game, and even with the Knicks series, you got to keep your eye on OKC because they start launching threes like nobody's business. But I was kind of happy to see in the last minute and a half that OKC kind of shut the three down so that they didn't get as effective. So overall, and I'm going to say what Henry says, this is over. I think OKC's going to walk out of here the next 3 games. I don't care if you win by 1. A win is a win. This is over in 5.
I'm going to move Kendall Tyson. Give me your opinion on OKC Indiana.
The Pacers showed a little bit of experience, and OKC showed us what happens to the youngest team to ever be in the NBA Finals. And then they came back and did what they do. And the thing is, they're doing it on defense. How many times are they hawking the ball? And it really helps with, Caruso, who has a championship, just out there banging, man. I mean, he plays a good offensive game, but he is really playing defense. They're setting the tone on defense. I think it's over. I just think they did what they had to do. I think Indiana did what Indiana does. I mean, you leave them around, and Halliburton, who's what? Tell him, Bruce, 5 for 5. He's 5 for 5 when it comes to closing out. We got our closer over here in Ernie, but we got the closer in the NBA. So
But
just don't give him a chance.
Yeah, but you know what he need to do though. He need to play the closer role in the beginning of the game, because like I said, he got the potential. You can't wait till you in desperate mode to play like that. They need him.
yes,
They need him to score for sure.
yes.
I think
You know,
someone.
if he don't get more aggressive, they ain't gonna win.
But you got to give him a chance to go home too, Kendall. You got to give him a chance to go home too. See how they do to Indiana, okay? Because if they win game 3, that means they'll be up 2-1. So you got to give them a chance to go home first.
But like somebody else was saying, if OKC is making them threes, it's all over.
Yeah, but the team shoot different on the road than they do at home.
I'm just saying, if they making them threes,
I got you.
because it seems like everybody on the team capable of shooting.
I'm saying, but
even Chad Holcomb.
well, I'm saying if Indiana win game 3, they're up 2-1. So now we have a different conversation.
No, we understand that. We just saying if they make them threes.
I thought Indiana had better threes than OKC. I thought Indiana
They did.
it's not OKC.
No, but
So Indiana supposed to be the one hitting the three.
yeah, but they gotta hit them too. Right?
Yeah, but
They
they
definitely
got a
gotta
better record than OKC. Is
No,
what
but
they
I'm
did.
saying the way the game going, them guys shooting threes from everywhere. They bringing a guy Wiggins off the bench.
Sure.
This guy here, no name, shooting threes. People you ain't never heard of, they out there shooting threes and making them.
But Wiggins ain't had no good series yet, though. To me,
He went 5 for 3 in one game.
yeah, one game, but he had no good series.
Yeah, but he ain't the man. But
Come
I'm
on.
talking about the
They
bench.
started bringing Williams way off the bench. Now Wiggins started bringing him way off the bench.
Listen, game 3 is going to be an important game for both teams.
You got to understand something, Jerry. OKC really is a good road team. Let's keep that in mind.
It's the Pacers.
All right. Now think about it. Denver is no pushover. Okay. At the time, Denver was at one time an NBA champion, almost had the same team. If it weren't for the fact that my man Aaron, I can't think of his name, got hurt, I think Denver would have given him a better game. But for the truth of the matter, OKC is a great defensive team on the road. They play better on the road than they do at home. So you got to pay attention to that. So game 3 is can Indiana get past OKC's defense? And if they can do that, they have a shot. If they're not able to do that, like I said, I'll see you next year. You see that little sign for New York? I'm saying the same thing for Indiana. Next
To me, it's also important for Indiana to get off to a big start, because even in both games, even the one that they won, they got off to a horrible start. Right. If they could at least change, this is where having 3 games in a row at home can help them. If they can steal, not so much steal, but if they can win game 1 in Indiana, with game 3, of course, in the series, that's a big momentum switch, because they know that they've got 2 more games at home, and even if they've already proven that they can go into OKC and win. So tomorrow night's game is huge for both sides. to say
Yeah.
the least.
Anthony, but it's not the 2-3-2 format no more.
No, 2-2-1-1.
It's 2-2-1-1.
No, I think the finals is still 2-3-2, isn't it?
No,
No.
no, it's
2-2.
2-1.
No, they changed that format back to the old one. It's 2-2
okay.
and 1-1-1.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's like
that's still being said though. This is again, game 3 to me is a big momentum shift for both teams. I think if Indiana can get at least one home win, it can change a lot of momentum in this series.
Yeah.
And let's face it, we've seen during this playoff that they have no problem winning on the road.
Don't try this
So
baking soda trick unless you're ready to
Let me
last all
say
night
this.
until
I
she
think
says
Indiana
stop.
got to win their
Last
two at home.
Thursday night.
If they OKC take one in Indiana out of those two, I think I know what the momentum gonna swing then. Go swing for OKC. I have to disagree with you on that. They only need to win the first one. They need to win 2 at home right now.
Yeah, they would love to win.
OKC has to get back what they lost because that game, it wasn't a fluke. Halliburton did what he did, but OKC's got to get back the game they gave away.
And
They
do
taking
that.
game 3.
This game 3, they got to take game 3. That's how they
Take
reclaim.
game 4. The object is to get 1 out of 2.
right.
They ain't got to take 3. They just got to get 1 out of 2.
No, I'm saying they got to take game 3.
They
because
taking game 3.
They got to get the game back they lost. They should have never lost game 1.
But they can get it back on the 4th game. It ain't got to be the 3rd. I just disagree with you guys on that. Ain't got to be the 3rd.
That's fine, but I mean,
and still be in good standard.
if they play like they played all year long, I'll go with Larry on this one. They taking game 3. Okay, how much? I even put a prediction out there: 7 points or better.
They're gonna take both games. They're gonna take game 3 and 4. When OKC come back, they come back with the trophy. It's gonna be over with, man.
Yeah, game 3, they'll win by 7 or better. I'm gonna put it out there. Now I said, call me a prophet lie, a test of sight.
I back you up. I got you. I got your back. I'm gonna cash that check.
Hey, and now, hey, Jerry, I'm riding Larry's bus now. I hope he can drive.
We're gonna cash that check.
I hope he can drive.
He's going for Kansas City, boy.
Oh
We're
no.
gonna cash that check. Hey, you say what you want about KC, but they going back.
Yeah.
Not like Dallas.
Listen, Bishop, you brought up the Knicks. I saw that on Facebook. Would you trade to get Giannis or what? Or would you keep your team the same? Would you break up that team to bring in Giannis?
Who am I trading? That's a good question. Who am I getting rid of?
You got to get rid of Cat, as he's gonna be one of them.
No, everybody. As long as I got those 3, I have to go for it. Everybody else could go. Yeah, everybody else could go. As long as I got those 3, I got me a big 3 for as I'm concerned.
I'm thinking Robinson. I really don't want to lose Bridges because he's a good defender.
Give up Bridges. Give him Bridges.
I may have to give up Bridges, and then I'm looking for a third party that we can give up. Give up some cash. But I would love to see that. That's a championship team right there with him, with Giannis on that team. That's a title right there. Okay. Oh, I know so.
You better believe Bridges gonna be in that Packers deal.
I'm thinking he will be, and I'm thinking
he wasn't the man they thought he was.
Yeah, I'm thinking Bridges, McBride, and I'm looking for a third person that might be of value that would. Oh man, that's
let me ask Kendall. What do you think, Kendall, on this lineup?
giveaway. That's chewing gum. That's bubble gum right there. I like
Robinson. He's in Greece right now. He's actually playing in Brazil right now, and he hasn't said anything about going to the Knicks. I think if the Knicks could swing this, I mean, they become a better team, obviously. But Karl Anthony Towns, although he's a 7-footer, provided that outside threat. There's really no outside shooters. All you got to do is pack it in on them. So because Giannis goes to the basket, Jalen Brunson goes to the basket, short jumper game. I mean, I'm looking for that cold-blooded third threat that has that outside shot. I mean, Jordan had it, Kobe had it. I mean, all the champions had it. Murray has it. You go down the list, there's nobody that's going to – I mean, Jalen can create off the dribble. Miles Bridges is sort of a slasher. I'm just missing that third guy, and I'm missing that thug power forward.
What third guy? You got the 3 right here. What third guy are you talking about?
Yeah, but
Look,
Towns gonna be
You still got to stop. You still got to stop
Johnson
somebody.
already won the championship. You guys need to give that credit where it's due. That's your third man right there. You know, already won a championship.
Yeah,
He already proved what he could do if you give him the right team. The only question I got: who gonna play center? You know,
Probably
Giannis.
Giannis, I would think.
Probably Giannis. If he goes low, Giannis. Towns is going to probably want to hang around the 3-point line, no doubt about that.
Yeah, but the proposal that I saw, they wanted Towns and Bridges. They're going to give up Kuzma.
They ain't going to give up both of them.
They're going to give up Kuzma with Giannis.
They got to give up for Giannis, Bishop. You're not going to give Giannis for nothing.
Yeah, you ain't going to get him
You
straight
gotta
up.
give up.
I'm aware of that.
That's the thing. You know, Milwaukee's not just gonna let him go. I mean, you couldn't even backload this with first round picks.
No.
Yeah.
Knicks ain't got none.
That's
Don't
that
forget
too.
to
But I'm
give
just
up
saying
Paul.
they don't, you know, you're gonna have to have a third party no matter what happens here.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I mean, for that reason, I say McBride, Bridges, and I'm trying to think of the number 8.
Kyle Kuzma coming with him.
Yeah,
He can shoot that rock.
the bottom line is they're going to give up something, and then they're going to give up some cash. I know that. And the Knicks are pretty close to their cap.
They gave up 4 first-round picks for Bridges now. Don't forget that.
Yeah, well, and those come up next year over the next 3 years, I think.
Andy, what you think, bro? Give me your opinion, man. So if I move on.
Well, like Anthony was saying, Milwaukee's going to get some type of star back. So, you know, if it's a one-on-one trade between the Knicks and Milwaukee,
that ain't gonna happen.
Who's on there as a start? You got Brunson, you got Karl Anthony Towns. If you keep both of them, who would satisfy Milwaukee as far as what the Knicks can give them for Giannis?
You got
also you got to look at they're in the same Eastern Conference.
Yep.
Do Milwaukee really want to do that? Would they rather, if they're going to make the trade, would they trade Giannis to the Western Conference?
Well, think about it.
They're gonna stink anyway.
They traded Drew Holiday.
Yeah, they're gonna stink. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
right. All right, Andy. Let me move on, man, because I know Bob's gonna call in a few. You got a question up here. I'm gonna start with Kendall. Will Chris Paul, Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook win the NBA championship before their career's over? What do you think?
Absolutely not.
No.
No. The window of opportunity is gone with them. I mean, Kawhi's obviously got his 2 championships. You know, Westbrook had his.
Chris Paul, Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook.
It's a wrap.
No, they're done. What about you, Henry?
I mean,
them guys is done. But they're not going to. Especially look at Paul George. The 2 teams he played for, they playing the championship right now. They're going to win a ring before he does.
So the window's closed. Then. What about you, Anthony?
Yeah, that window is closed. That horse has left the barn, and all that.
Yeah.
What about you, Bishop?
Well, word has it that Westbrook could be playing in Italy next year, possibility.
I saw that.
So basically, you know, in terms of the NBA, he's gotten with OKC and LA, he's gotten as close as he's going to get. He can't get no closer to the fire without jumping in. So unless he's planning on being crispy, I don't see him winning anything, not any of them.
Go ahead, Larry. What you think, bro?
I think that's done. I think Westbrook had his last shot this year. He has the last shot and didn't make it work. And I don't think nobody else is going to trust him. And Paul is just ain't doing nothing no more, so he already retired. And the other guy stays too hurt, so I think it's a wrap.
Okay. Well, listen, Bruce, you made your comment on that already?
No, it's all it's all over. Though. Like you said,
so it's gonna be ringless too. Like Donald said, no rig, no winning thing, you ain't got no rig.
Yeah, but like you just said, man, this was Westbrook's best year this year to get one.
Right.
It's over.
He didn't get it.
It's all over.
All of Chris Paul, James Harden.
All of them.
Let me say this here. Which one would be the first one to try to jump on a winning team? You know, which one going to be desperate just to get that ring? That's what question we need to be asking. Which one those desperate?
Nobody want him.
Barkley go down and play with. Which one want to play with OKC right now?
No, the worst was Karl Malone. Charles was bad. Charles Barkley when he was in Houston, but the worst was Karl Malone when he went to the Lakers. That was with Shaq and Kobe.
I think it'll be James Harden.
I got one even worse than that. Paul Pierce going to the Clippers.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy, honestly. Pierce and the Clippers, what was he thinking?
Yeah, but at least he had a ring, though.
Yeah.
He left with a ring, but going to the Clippers, trying to get another one with the team the Clippers had at that time. Please.
Yeah, but he was just hanging in there.
He had a ring.
He wasn't in desperate mode.
Yeah, he went there for Doc Rivers. This I got Bob McCormick on the line. Bob, go with your sports report. Go ahead, bro.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. Tonight we're actually going to start off with Major League Baseball. Don't know if you guys saw this in Anaheim. A's outfielder Denzel Clark robbed the Angels Nolan Samuel of a solo home run.
All the way over.
Clark scaled the wall, reached over, and caught the ball.
Yeah, that was
in
nasty.
one of the best.
Yes,
one
it was.
make.
And he ain't but 5'8", 5'9".
No, he's 6'4".
Is he
6'4". I literally just wrote an article about him for MLB Bro.
I didn't realize he was that tall. He looked 5'8", 5'9".
6'4", 225. He's a big one.
Oh, you know what? He's a right fielder, right?
Outfielder.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right, go ahead, Bob.
All right, thank you. It was just Clark's 16th game in the big leagues. After being called up, the Angels, however, won the game. The Rays beat the Red Sox in extras. Also, those two go at it again tonight in Boston. The first place Yankees are in Kansas City, while the first place Mets host the Nationals.
Yes, sir.
Yankees team Stanton will be in a rehab assignment tonight at AA Somerset, putting him closer to his debut this year in New York. The Red Sox have called up outfielder Roman Anthony, who started last night and went 0 for 4 with a walk. The Marlins pitcher Ryan Weathers, he was struck in the head by the catcher's warm-up throw between innings. Weathers shook off the blow and stayed in the game until the third inning. The Diamondbacks pitcher Corbin Burns will have season-ending elbow surgery and will perhaps miss most of next season. The Twins pitcher Pablo Lopez will be out 8 to 12 weeks with a sprain in his shoulder. Now on to the ice in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. The Panthers won big last night, 6-1 over the Oilers. Florida's Brad Marchand became the oldest player at 37 to score in each of the first 3 games of a final. Florida's up 2-1 in that series. Now the Capitals' TJ Oshie is retiring after playing 16 seasons in the NHL. The Dallas Stars fired head coach Pete DeBoer after losing the West Finals. Marco Strum is the new head coach of the Bruins, and the Penguins hire former Rangers assistant Dan Muse as their new head coach. Now on to the Knicks front. Jay Wright and Rick Pitino say no, but the team is interested in talking to Jason Kidd about their head coach vacancy. The Suns hired the Cavs assistant Jordan Ott as their new head coach. The Grizzlies rookie center Zach Edey re-sprained his ankle and will likely miss the start of next season. A federal judge has approved a $2.8 billion settlement, paving the way for college athletes to be paid millions. On to the WNBA. The Fever's Caitlin Clark is still out with a quad injury. The Wings' Paige Beckers will return to the lineup tomorrow night against the Mercury after the last 4 games due to a concussion. The Sky's Courtney Vandersloot will miss the rest of the season after tearing her ACL. On to football now. I don't know if you guys have talked about this yet, but Colorado coach Deion Sanders is dealing with an unspecified injury. A timetable for his return is unknown. On to the NFL. Packers released cornerback Jair Alexander. Running back Nick Chubb signed a 1-year deal with $2.5 million with the Texans. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers signed a 1-year, $13 million deal with the Steelers. Former 49ers wide receiver Chris Connolly is retiring And the Cowboys offensive lineman Tom Rafferty had died at 70. He played from 1976 to 89. Coco Gauff, the first American in a decade to win the Women's French Open final on Saturday. And then Carlos Alcaraz, he played that 5+ hour match with Yannick Sinner. Beat him to win the men's French final. And Sovereignty, I'm going to finish off with this. The Kentucky Derby winner won the Belmont Stakes. A lot of people think that horse could have also won the Preakness, but did not run in it.
Right,
so
Bob.
that's all the sports I got for you tonight, Jerry.
All right, thank you, Bob, for your
All right,
support.
Bob.
Appreciate it, man. Right?
Talk to you guys later.
All right.
And this is our sports talk on WJRG. We have a couple announcements. There's going to be a Community Vendors Day on Saturday, June 21st. The time is from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Vendors, tables $25. Bring your own rent table for $35. Food for sale, fish, grits, chicken, hamburgers, hot dogs, french fries, and dinners, and much more. It is going to be at the New Flame Restoration Church, 1375 State Street in New Haven, where our good friend Apostle Bernice Gibbs is the pastor, and join the fun. And I believe Donald got another announcement, Bishop, you can make for me. That's coming up as well.
All right. Now, I know many of you wait for the Super Bowl. You wait for the World Series. You wait for all these major events. Well, in the Elm City, there's going to be a major event, a celebration and appreciation service from the one and only Dr. Jerry Green. It's going to take place Sunday, June 29th, 2025 at the New Trinity Temple, Church of God in Christ, 285 Dixwell Avenue in the city of New Haven. I need you to do 3 things. Have your face in the place. Make sure you're on time. Bring your pocketbook, your wallet, or whatever you carry your finances in. As he has ministered to you spiritual things, can you not minister to him material things? And I'm saying this. This is not anybody that's sponsoring this. I'm saying this. If he's been a blessing to you, it's your turn to be a blessing to him. So I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'm going to be there. Kendall's going to be there. And I'm going to put him on the line. Big Don is going to be there. Larry will be there in spirit, unless he flies up the same day. And of course, we got to have the legend in the place because I want to mess with him in person. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys there. Come one, come all. I promise you, you're going to have a ball. It's a celebration and appreciation for Dr. Jerry Green, Sunday, June 29th, 2025 at 3 p.m. at the New Trinity Temple, Church of God in Christ, 285 Dixwell Avenue in the city of New Haven. Okay, then.
And welcome back to Sports Talk on the Tuesday night edition. I want to go with my man, the dunker I was talking about earlier. I want to see if you guys think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Which one? Should Blake Griffin? This is going to be a good question. Bruce, should Blake Griffin be in the Hall of Fame? Donald said yes earlier. What do you think?
I mean, he was tough when he came in the league, man. I mean, I could say he could make it. Yeah, he was
Because
tough.
this one, Pat Beverly, he said I don't think he's on Blake Griffin being conducted into the Hall of Fame. You don't think so? What about you, Don? You say yes, right?
I still say yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Because Blake Griffin made with the Clippers. He was an excellent player. He got a lot of highlights behind him.
He was
a
the
great
man.
scorer. He just hung around a little too long. But a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame ain't got no ring. I definitely can't look at that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I said earlier, and I said again, as they go down the line, you see less and less people that you feel don't belong in there still in there. You're going to always see that.
See,
But
he was the man.
he was the man with the Clippers. So I
He
got to
was the
say,
man.
if you put some of them other ones in there, you got to
Anytime
be
you
right
got
there
a
with them.
man on your team, your star player,
Yeah.
they usually Hall of Fame.
There was a 3 games and 1 against somebody too.
Yeah, but I'm
And
saying
they
if
lost.
it wasn't for him getting them injuries,
That was Chris Paul.
you know what I mean? But usually your star player is usually a Hall of Fame.
Anthony, what you think, Anthony? Should he be in the Hall of Fame? Griffin.
Like,
Good player. I wouldn't call him a Hall of Famer though. That's just my own opinion.
There you go. Yeah,
I think he's a good, very good player. No doubt about that. I don't look at him. I don't look at him as a Hall of Fame guy though. That's
Okay.
but again, that's just my opinion.
All right, that's your opinion. That's what I'm asking.
Was he better than Robert Horry?
What's that again?
Is he better than Robert Horry? He was more exciting.
No. That ain't the question.
I think I don't think he was better than Robert Horry. I mean, as good a player as he wasn't a difference maker. He had great highlights and all the. Robert Horry was a difference maker. Won championships with different teams, and was a dominant player even at his later years. I mean, Blake Griffin's again good player. I just don't think he's I don't think he's a Hall of Fame guy. That's all.
All right, go ahead, Bishop. What do you think? Should he be in the Hall of Fame? Would you vote him in if you had the opportunity?
No, I wouldn't vote him in. If they could have an honorable mention, one of them little name tags, just about as close as he gets for me. Because, I mean, Blake Griffin was a good player, and I got to give him credit. He had his few highlights on ESPN and things of that nature, but we're not going to judge it. His body of work, to me, wasn't big enough to justify the Hall of Fame. That's just my opinion.
He pretty much led the Clippers.
Sure he did.
You know what I mean? You guys still thinking Chris Paul. That was the man for the Clippers right there.
But listen, he might have led for how many years? 1 year, 2 years?
Have to be in the right place, the right time all the time. He wasn't no really great
He
player.
wasn't no Blake Griffin.
Yeah, he made highlight shots that happened to be winners. But as far as being a great player, he was no great player.
You don't know Blake Griffin.
Larry, should Blake Griffin be in the Hall of Fame, Larry?
I think his body of work, he was a good player, and he was really good. I think some of his best work when he first came out, barring all the injuries and stuff, I think he's going to sneak in there.
I don't think
so. Sneak in there. You're gonna sneak him in
I think you're going to sneak in there.
All right. I mean, and like I said, that was what Pat Beverly said as far as on the flyer. What do you think, Henry? Should he be in the Hall of Fame?
I think they lowered the standards to me. They have lowered the bar for the All-Star, people to make the All-Star. So, because there's some few players that got it that I think they shouldn't be in there, that are now in there. And I would have to say, yeah, because of how they have lowered the standard of making the NBA All-Star.
All right, go ahead, Kendall. Let Kendall answer.
Well, I think he gets the Gale Sayers clause. Gale Sayers, his career was cut short. He's in there with, suspects, yards, but he was an electrifying player. Blake Griffin played an electrifying player. He brought people to the seats, to the stands, and I just think based on that, he doesn't have enough points and rebounds, but he was a dominant player when Lob City was Lob City. So I think he gets in on like that Gale Sayers clause.
How many good years did Blake Griffin have? Would you say?
I think pros would do the same.
2.
You said somebody said 2?
Maybe 2, maybe 3.
Oh, okay, so out of a career, I'm gonna put you in the Hall of Fame for 2 or 3.
Bro, he had more than
5 years. At least.
Blake Griffin, look, for me, my opinion alone, I'm the one that said 2, maybe 3. I've seen a couple of years where he was outstanding, and I give him credit, where he was outstanding, a monster. But for me, he turned average. Probably year 3 or 4, Blake Griffin had become to me average. Okay, that's just my opinion. So that's it.
He played 14 years.
But I think he became average.
How many 14 years? And he came off the bench too. Now you remember in the latter years he was like a shell of himself. Some games he didn't even.
Yeah, in the last 4 years he ain't do nothing. But I'm talking about before then.
So
for the Lakers, didn't he?
No, Carmelo started.
He ain't start for
He started for the Lakers.
No,
yes, he did. He started for the Lakers.
No, he didn't start for
that
the
first year Carmelo started. Look it up and connect it up.
He was hurt.
Carmelo got hurt in the playoffs.
Hey, how do we always end up talking about the Lakers, Anthony? How do we always end up talking about the Lakers?
Hey, real quick, I just pulled up.
He was starting from my flag.
I have the stats for you Friday.
Hey,
the Lakers was something like 25-3.
Get them for you right now.
Pull them up. Pull them up. It was something like 25-4 when they had Karl Malone and Gary Payton when they first started that season. They called
How many years?
1 year.
But let's get back to the question.
And they got beat by Detroit in the final.
Griffin had a
There
career
you
average
go.
of 19.0 points per game.
He averaged almost 20 points a game for 14 years. Come on.
So also the
Come on,
way
the
Griffin,
Lakers,
he
we
was
talking about what team?
Who you talking about, Larry?
A Griffin.
Griffin.
Oh, yeah, with 20 points a game?
Yeah, 14
also,
years.
He made the All-Star team 6
What do you
times.
respect on his name? What
And he was a 5-time All-NBA on the second team and twice on the NBA All-Time third team.
You better put some respect on that man's name.
My point here, gentlemen, is the fact that he had his season. That's average. I mean, you how many
14 years. 14 years. Come on.
Go back over the list.
You do it. You do it.
How many people had that same average? Defensively, he was where? He wasn't listed in the top 20. Offensively, he's listed somewhere in the top 25. Offensively, I mean, I'm trying to find something that I can build on other than the fact
We're talking about sneaking in. We're talking about going through the back door.
Right.
Come on.
through the back door. The problem is they're gonna give him a
I
little.
would say this.
They're gonna give him a
They
nameplate.
lowered the standard.
Yep,
Unless
and
you
I
play-
agree with you. But
and
Henry,
NBA All-Star team.
Henry, I'm sorry. The standards went from the shoulders to the knees, but he's around just above the ankles. This ain't working. I'm sorry. I can't buy it. And if he makes it in, I will eat my hat.
You're gonna have to eat that. You're gonna have to eat that though.
If he makes it in, I'll eat my words. I promise.
You gonna do it on TV?
Hey, listen, if I can eat words on TV, if Blake Griffin makes it, he'll be mentioned. But I don't think he's gonna be voted in. Not this year. Not for this year, but for next year. Nah, I don't think so.
We can't trust.
We ain't talking about this year or next year. We talking about the future.
All right, listen. I know it's gonna get kind of late. I got another one. We're gonna switch to football. Aaron Rodgers right there, Don. Next one down. Larry, let me start with you. Aaron Rodgers signing. What do you think about that signing, Larry? Would he help the Steelers at all?
That seals the Steelers' fate. They are not making the playoffs.
They will not make the playoffs. Wow.
They will not make the playoffs.
So Aaron Rodgers is that bad?
It's gonna be that bad.
Well, listen, can I jump in there, Jerry, if you don't mind? They're gonna have to put an oxygen tank in his helmet. He's gonna be doing a whole lot of running. I promise you.
Wow. Okay, what about you here? You're my sports legend. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers, man?
Next question. It's put it this way. They had a chance to draft Shador as the backup, and they put all their eggs in one basket on a guy that's had two lousy. I mean, at this point, put it this way. At this point, he's the year he's gonna have is gonna make Russell Wilson's 2 years in Denver look like Johnny Unitas at this point.
Right now.
Go ahead, Kendall.
Hey, listen, Anthony could not have said it any better. This Dan Rodgers situation is just, he wastes the sign, which sets him back as far as camp's concerned. And he just got married, according to the news. But
Don't tell his wife.
Is just a one plus. It's a 1-year contract. I don't think Pittsburgh makes the playoffs.
Hey, Kendall, can I tell you this? He's got an application in for True Green because he's gonna be able to tell what kind of grass he's eating.
Yeah.
Bruce, you said no way, Bruce.
No, I agree with everybody, man. Look, he was in desperate mode. He waited all the way till the OTA started.
Yeah.
Before he signed, and he signed for peanuts. Didn't nobody else want him. Ain't nobody else put nothing out there for him.
He's gonna be waiting with Dallas. He's gonna be hanging out with Dallas.
Oh Lord, that sounds like an insult.
What did you just say about that grass?
He gonna be chewing a lot of it. Oh, this is Kentucky bluegrass. I know that anywhere.
Aaron Rodgers 41. He'll be 42.
Yeah. But they should have learned from the Jets.
When somebody hit him hard, ain't no way. We all know, ain't no way them old bones ain't gonna feel.
Bishop, Carmelo Anthony, coach for the Knicks. How would that look?
No, that won't work.
No. Carmelo Anthony is one-sided. In terms of coaching, I've never seen him coach, but if I judge by his ability to play, he wasn't one-sided per se with the Knicks when he played, but I don't think he'd make a great coach. He might make a nice assistant coach, not a head coach. I'm sorry.
You answer me too, brother.
Yeah, I love you, Mello, but no, you are not a coach. You know.
Larry.
No way, no how. Just like he said, he was an offensive ball player. He didn't play the defense, and he will not coach a defensive team.
Wow. Without you, Henry? No.
I don't see Camilo as far as on that. Now, I know the same thing, like JJ Reddick didn't have no experience. He did good, you know, as far as with the Lakers. Can't really say, but I don't think so, you know, but I don't think that'll happen anyway, but I don't know. Because JJ Reddick, to me, he had no experience, but he did really good.
Yeah, but it ain't the experience part. We ain't looking at him for having experience. It's the way he played, like Ernie said. You know what I mean? You could tell by the way he played, you know, he ain't gonna be no defense in there. It's gonna be all, you know, it just don't, I mean, he might fool you. You know, you always want to give him a chance. He might fool you, but it's just the way he plays. See, a lot of guys playing, you can tell they're gonna be good coaches.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
JJ was one of them.
But Magic fooled us. Magic looked like he could have been a good coach, but he turned out to be garbage.
Magic wasn't ball right as a coach.
Huh?
He wanted to play though.
Yeah, but he wasn't no good as a coach.
He wasn't no good coach,
on,
Larry.
man. Come on, man.
Come on now.
Magic was still wanting to play.
Right, but he wasn't no good coach.
Yeah, but he coached the team.
Yeah, he coached. He tried to coach, and he wasn't no great coach either.
No, he was terrible.
I know
he can't take defeat.
Yeah.
He wanted to win too bad.
That's a whole nother level. If I was Carmelo, I would go to the college levels first. Go coach Syracuse. I think Jim Boeheim's about ready to retire anyway.
I think he don't look like. I don't think he would get the respect from the players. He don't look like he can earn the respect. You know, you got to earn the players' respect.
Okay.
You can't even earn these guys' respect. How you gonna earn
Hey, Kendall, see my brother got a topic up here. When the Detroit Pistons lost to Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls and walked off the court and didn't shake hands, do you guys think that was the reason why Michael Jordan didn't want Isaiah Thomas on the Dream Team? Kendall?
First of all, the year before that, Kevin McHale and the Celtics walked off on the Pistons. You know, Ed Thomas went out to the middle of the court to shake hands with Kevin McHale, but they were walking out. I think Isaiah Thomas was the one that was filmed while doing it, but it's, you know, because he's the captain of the team, I think that has a lot to do with it. It was very disrespectful, along with the fact that, you know, that picture of Isaiah Thomas, he did defeat all of them in a championship. I think it happened with the freeze when Isaiah Thomas engineered that freeze in the All-Star game. They wouldn't give Jordan the ball.
Okay.
You know, and they wouldn't give the ball. And I think that's where it happened. Also, you know, Isaiah was from Chicago, and Jordan goes to Chicago, and Isaiah was, you know, the man in Detroit and Chicago. Now Jordan shows up, and Isaiah is non-existent in Chicago. We don't say anything about him. You know, there were two really good guards coming out of Chicago, Doc Rivers and Isaiah Thomas back in the day. But we don't say anything about them anymore. Now, when we talk about a Chicago guard, we think about Michael Jordan. So he literally, you know, took Isaiah Thomas' stomping ground, and Isaiah Thomas froze him out in that All-Star game. And after that, he didn't like him. And Jordan says it. He didn't like Isaiah.
Hey, Henry, it's your topic. What do you think, man? Is that the reason why? Because of the,
I'll say that's one of the reasons, because of that sportsmanship, to, you know, as far as, because Michael lost to Detroit 2 years or 3 years in a row before he beat him. And every time that he lost, he shook them guys' hand. And as soon as they lost, they didn't want to do that. So I think, you know, that right there as sportsmanship, I think that really had a lot to do with it.
All right, what you think, Larry?
I think the same thing. I think the All-Star game played a part of it, you know, because you trying to embarrass him and on his home in his house, you know. Yeah. You can't do stuff like that. And then you not shake after you get defeated. I mean, you finally get knocked down, you know.
Right, and that wasn't Chicago. You're right. when they try to freeze him out. I think it was in Chicago when they tried to freeze him out.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just Isaiah Thomas too. It was Magic Johnson on top of that too, and it was also Bird wasn't too much in on it, but it was the top guy. George Gervin was another one. They didn't want to. They tried to freeze him out. They thought Michael was too cocky.
But Magic didn't get no backslash about that.
No, none of them did. Just Isaiah.
Magic was a different type of guy. He was the type that will probably stab you in the back and smile at the same time.
Yeah, right. No. Michael was.
Man,
you got the wrong man. You got the wrong man. Talk about Magic Johnson.
Magic was the one that didn't want Isaiah on the team. It wasn't Michael Jordan. It was Magic.
Right, but they're supposed to have been friends. So
it was a group decision.
Had his knife out.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because Isaiah Thomas made a comment that he thought that Magic was gay, and Magic didn't like that comment. Yep. Isaiah Thomas said that Magic was gay. I mean, how many times you see two guys kiss each other on the court?
I mean, they had to do that. That was their makeup there. They had to come back and make up and all that.
I agree.
Barkley kissed the referee in the lips on the court.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all remember that, right? Charles Barkley, he kissed the referee.
Yeah, he sure did.
Right in the lips.
Magic and Isaiah was doing that every game too, man.
Yeah, but I think
that's not normal.
Yeah, but I think
Magic was running too many girls back then when he was with the Lakers. Magic was the gay bone in his body.
Larry, you never heard no rumor about Magic being gay? You never heard that rumor back then?
No.
Going both ways.
I mean, he probably went both ways. Remember, he was in LA now. Don't forget that.
Magic was the
You know what? Ain't nobody messing with you on that.
Yeah, too many women, but ain't nobody never seen him with nobody, not even Cookie. They didn't see him with Cookie till years later.
Yeah,
that's a lie.
But back then, you could make phone calls. Don't forget that.
Will Chamberlain, they said the same thing about Will Chamberlain. And ain't nobody, he had number cats.
Right.
Well, Will Chamberlain,
no kids either.
Will Chamberlain admitted though. Will Chamberlain once said he had all those women.
But I'm saying, he was just like Magic saying that, but ain't nobody never seen him with these women. If you've been with 20,000 women,
no.
everybody gonna see
if
you.
You're out there in LA, even today, if you're out there in LA, you just make a phone call. They come right to the room. You ain't got to be seen with nobody.
I don't care if you're on a different continent. If you with 20,000 women, every time they see you, you're gonna be with another woman.
Williams
in the room, 20 in the room.
What? Come on, man.
First of all, we know he wasn't with no 20,000. Second of all, out there it was all room service because who was the Worthy that said it?
20,000.
I lived in LA back then. It was crazy. I lived in LA back then. It was. They come visit you.
I'm not saying 20,000 women. All of them ain't coming to your room.
They come. They will find where you at. They will be at your door before you get there.
You into women like that when you had 20,000.
Yeah, they'd be right to that room.
Somewhere where you go, you can have one of them ladies on your arm.
No, not
all 20,000 ain't coming to your room.
Magic had our Cookie. He ain't gonna be walking around.
Yeah, ain't nobody seen Cookie. Ain't nobody seen Cookie.
But we know they was together.
How we know? Till they told us.
Yeah, that's how we know.
And she the only one. Who else it been?
So what do you think? What was the question again?
Lord have mercy. Hey, Henry, we got to keep these guys on the beaten path. This is what happens.
Is that normal? Two guys kiss each other going on the court? Come on now. That wasn't normal.
No, man.
No, your question was what was the reason that Isaiah was frozen off of was kept out
of the dream team?
Yes, off the dream team, the Olympics. And the main reason he was kept off the Olympics, those three right there haven't been beaten down by him. And then I don't think No, I don't think Isaiah himself. Isaiah did what Isaiah needed to do. You know, this was Michael Jordan and Magic that had something to do with this.
It was really the handshake. The question was, did the handshake have something to do with it? Because the they didn't shake Michael Jordan's hand.
I don't
petty.
I don't think so either.
They shake their hand.
I don't think so either.
All of guys got more rings than he do.
Yeah.
So them little 2 rings nothing to those guys.
Right. And that's because he didn't shake their hand. They're gonna keep up Olympic team.
Those 2 rings don't mean nothing.
That don't make no sense.
Because he beat all 3 of them.
Because he wasn't good enough.
No, Larry, he beat all 3 of them. That was the problem.
The only one to do.
That's like me beating you, Donald, and Bruce. I'm the
I'm
little
gonna
guy.
let you beat me.
Hey, but, I'm gonna ask you guys this
A guy like
question.
me.
Was Chuck Daly the coach?
Hey, Bruce. Hey,
Wasn't
Bruce,
Chuck Da- wasn't
you'll
Chuck
foul
Daly
him
the head
first,
coach
Bruce, won't
of
you?
the Olympics?
Hold on,
Hey,
hold on.
Bruce. And
Go ahead.
Henry,
Chuck Daly the head coach? The
Jerry
Detroit
said,
Pistons head coach?
Jerry,
He was the head coach of the Olympics, wasn't he?
Oh,
Don,
Chuck Daly. Was
yeah,
he the head coach
uh-huh.
for the Olympic team?
Right. And didn't Daly
So-
want
so
Thomas
I'm
to play?
And Chuck Daly could have picked him up.
I think somebody said, if y'all bring Isaiah on the team, we ain't
He
playing.
ain't playing.
Michael Jordan.
That's what it was.
Michael
I'm
Jordan.
just saying,
Yeah.
his head coach, man,
You know
of
what I mean?
Detroit was the head coach of
Who
the
was more
Olympics.
powerful, Michael Jordan or Chuck Daly? Who was more
Exactly.
powerful?
Chuck Daly, no good and well. He couldn't come out there with no Michael or no Magic.
yeah, nobody
Right.
They all came to see Michael and Magic. So, you know, if Daly showed up without him,
Right.
yeah, okay.
He let Isaiah go.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, coach didn't even go to bat for him.
That's why he wasn't on your team.
Yeah, that's
And that
true, Henry. He didn't. He didn't even stand up for him.
Because Charles Barkley, Clyde Drexler, all the guys, they was under Bird and them. They wasn't really important. I mean, they was good players, but it wasn't Larry, Michael, or Magic.
Oh,
And
But
Chuck,
the coach ain't even back him. His own coach ain't even back him.
In between the Lakers and Boston.
Right. And stop the Bulls too for a while. Because it was supposed to be Magic, Larry, then Michael come along.
Yep.
Isaiah Thomas do a monkey wrench in there.
Yep.
And they didn't like that. That's all it was. And it was also a thing with Detroit and Chicago, like Kendall said. You know, Detroit didn't like Chicago, and Chicago didn't like Detroit.
Right. You know,
It was a lot.
even in the league now, they got players that hate each other.
mhm.
And they ain't never been in no Olympic team.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just hate each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? You'd be surprised how many guys that never even met each other.
It's just like the Michael and LeBron thing. That's the media doing that.
Yeah.
I never heard Michael and Magic have a problem. But if you keep talking about it, you know, Michael's going to want to know why everybody picking LeBron over me because the media is doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, we're gonna move on, man. It's almost 6. It's almost 7 o'clock. What's another? We got another. What's another topic? Melo's presenters, man. He got Michael Jordan and AI going to present him into the Hall of Fame. What you
You
guys
know
think
what?
about that?
I'm not understanding. Why has Melo got these guys presenting him? I mean, if anybody, get your old coach Boeheim in that mix. But I know they use players. Who did he play with? I mean, who did he play with on OKC when he was? I mean, Denver when he was over there.
Allen Iverson.
Okay, Iverson was on Denver's team.
And him
Yeah.
and Wade was drafted in the same draft too in 2003.
Yeah. All right. Well,
They came in the league together, you know. And even though Dwayne got 3 rings and Carmelo never made it to the finals,
Yeah.
okay. And him and the AI is pretty tight. And he said Michael Jordan was his greatest player that he admired. So
Yeah, but I like that Boeheim or whoever said that. I like that Boeheim.
yeah, I got you on that. All right, this is going to be another question, Henry. Was this LeBron James' greatest game, Game 6 against Boston when he scored 45 points, 15 rebounds, and had 8 assists? Was that his greatest game in his career, LeBron James?
I don't know if that was his greatest game. It was a great game because I think LeBron had another game where he scored more points than that.
New York.
That might have been because that might maybe his greatest playoff game, but overall, I think he probably had a better regular season game somewhere in his career.
Okay, with everything on the line, all right, they were down 3 games to 2. All right, the Heat, if they would have lost that game, they would have lost to Boston. They probably would have broke up the Big 3. And that was just year. They lost to Dallas the year before. So if LeBron didn't have that monster game and Boston would have won, that means they would have broke up their team. So and that was in Boston too now. Okay?
Right.
So you don't think that was LeBron's greatest game ever? When everything
I'm not sure because I have to look at the games that he played against when Golden State, when they were down 3 games to 1, his stats in them 3 games, I don't know what his stats were to get them that championship.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know what the stats are.
He had 2 rings with the Heat.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that. Only thing I'm just saying is I can't say if that was his greatest game because in that Golden State thing, they was down 3 games to 1.
All right, let me ask you another question. Let me do like this. What was Magic's greatest game? What was Magic Johnson's greatest game?
Well,
Game 6 against
as
Philly.
far as the top of my head would have to be the Game 6 that he won in Philly.
Okay, that was LeBron James Game 6 right there. Okay, so I'm saying everything was on the line. But even if you lost that game, it would have been a Game 7. Everything was on the line for Miami that game. If LeBron had the first points, they would have lost. They would have broke up that big 3. And everything that Pat Riley tried to put together, it would have went to and
it was a big game. Only thing I'm just saying, when he was down 3 games to 1 to Golden State, the 3 games that they won, what kind of stats did he have in them games? Because that series, he brought Cleveland the only championship.
Okay.
And he was down 3 games to 1.
You know what?
Right. Go ahead, Bishop.
No, I was going to say, I mean, when you look at the Cleveland series, it was LeBron the catalyst, but it was his supporting cast that got him those 3 games, because you had Thompson, you had Irvin, and who's the
white dude, Kevin Love.
Kevin Love, but there was one more off the bench. He was sort of kind of who's that? No, J.R. Smith from New York. He played with New York and went to another guy came up. He played for Marquette, whoever he was. But nonetheless, I can't think of his name, but I could see him now. These were the catalysts that helped LeBron. Now, they made his job a little bit easier. I give LeBron credit. You know, he led the charge, but these were the catalysts that gave him the assistance he needed. So here he is, you know, with that particular thing. I'm not LeBron, that 45 game series right there. And if you see that look on his face, you know he wasn't happy. You know he wasn't happy. But anyway, bottom line is LeBron is who he is. Getting back, look at that look. I mean, you could tell he was mad about something, disturbed about something.
He was serious. He was serious.
Yeah, he in that zone.
He knew everything was at stake. I mean, everything was on him.
That's what you want to see.
His legacy was on the line.
Don't forget y'all talking to Michael Jordan GOAT. So he gonna always.
What do you think, Kendall? Was that his greatest game or what?
Well, I think.
You bring it up.
What am I answering right now? I just had a brain fart.
Don't worry, it's not age, Kendall. It's definitely not age.
It's age, man. 63, man. 63.
I tried to get you out, but you just walked right into it. So I'm gonna leave you alone.
Was that his greatest game, Kendall?
I don't think so.
Game?
LeBron's greatest game.
Was that LeBron James' greatest game of his career when he scored the 45 points in Game 6 against Boston?
Was that the track down smack game? No, was it? No,
that was against Golden State.
I think that was the greatest game of his career. Golden State, based on the fact he was going against a 72 and 73-9 team. That game turned the tide, and he came back from a 3-1 deficit to win a championship.
All right, but that was a series, though. I'm talking about a game. That was a series. He was down 3 games to 1, and he had to win 3 games to win. I'm talking about that game where everything was on the line. All right, but Miami went up 2-0 against Boston. It was up 2-0. Then Boston won game 3, 4, and 5. They won 3 in a row. You know, they had to go back to Boston, and even Paul Pierce said, "I brought my talents down to South Beach." He was even talking jump. So everything was on the line for the Miami Heat. If they would have lost that game, they would have broke up that big 3 because they lost to Dallas the year before, and they had no championship. Everything was on the line for LeBron that particular game. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's hard to say which.
Hard to say it was the greatest game. Yeah.
He went to the finals 8 straight years. You know what I mean? It's hard to pick one game out and say this is the best game he ever had. That's a lot of good playing.
Then why would you pick Magic for game 4?
The reason I would pick Magic because Magic was a rookie, and Magic never expected, and nobody else expected Jabbar to get hurt for him to play center
Okay.
and do what he did, 42
And
points.
that was a great game. And that was his greatest game.
You name me another game.
No,
That's
that
what
was his greatest game.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? That was his
You
greatest
asked me
game.
why. I'm saying that's why I figured that was his best game because of what he did to the rookie.
Okay.
The absence of the great Jabbar.
Right.
And he took Jabbar place. I remember that Skyhook.
Okay, so let me ask you another question. What was Walt Fraser's greatest game?
The one that Willis Reed
Game
got.
7.
Listen,
Game 7.
The one that Willis Reed got the MVP.
He got the MVP in both series.
No, but I'm saying when Clyde had what he had 38 points.
Yeah, that was game 7.
Yeah.
That was his greatest game.
Yeah, right.
So sometimes you can have your greatest game at a certain time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying when you go 8 straight years,
right?
Nobody else didn't do that in the modern era. So it's hard to pick out. If you go back to all them games, that's because he scored the most points. That don't mean that was his greatest game.
But everything is stake though. Everything on the line.
Yeah, but I'm saying all of them online. Every series they in, everything on the line. If you in the finals, everything on the line. Every year you're in there.
All right. On top of the fact, remember, he had just gotten to Miami, just left Cleveland after a championship, and they were already burning his jerseys and all that stuff. So, yeah, he had all the reputation was on the line per se, not basically his ability to play the game.
And he was MVP in every ring that he won.
Yeah, but everybody was hating him. They wanted to see him fail.
Regardless of that, anybody can hate. We're talking about what he did on the court, which was his best game.
Right.
He was MVP in every ring that he won.
Every ring, right.
So all of that, you put all that together, it's hard. If you go back and look at him and say, man, I forgot he was doing that. You know what I mean? That's because he got the points. That don't mean that was his best game. You know, what about a man that get 23 points and 19 assists and 20 rebounds?
Okay.
Would you rather have that or a man that just had 40 points and 3 rebounds?
Let me ask a question. What was his best game in New York? Because I would think that his best game was played in New York.
Oh, LeBron.
Yeah, a lot of them was.
Yeah, a lot of good games in New York.
Everybody want to show up in the Mecca.
Just saying, that game against Boston, I mean, to me, that was just basic playoff stuff. His best games were probably played in the Mecca, where a lot of people came to the Mecca and had their best games.
Best games he had in 22 years.
He has some good games. But, you know, everybody might say their greatest, like Isaiah Thomas, when he scored 25 points in game
when he was
6.
Olympic. Yeah.
That was probably his greatest game he ever played. I mean, even though he lost, because, you know, they called the foul on Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah, but people will look at that one because of the way he did it.
God, it was still his greatest game.
Right. I'm saying, I agree, but I'm saying the way he did it, come out there with a bad ankle, everybody else would have set the rest of the game off.
Right, just like Malcolm,
he showed out.
Just like Malcolm Butler, he had one play for the Patriots. What was his greatest game? Malcolm Butler, when he the interception, to him when he intercepted that ball.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that'd be a game that people.
That was a shining moment, not a great game.
Yeah, but it was his greatest game, though.
There's a difference between a shining moment and a great game. A great game, you dominate. A shining moment, you got lucky.
Listen. If it wasn't for that play, they would have lost the game.
Hold up.
All right.
Hold the man he's gotten had five touchdowns on him.
He won the game
because he had one play.
Yeah, but
it's that one play. It was one shining moment, and that's all that was for Butler. The game was on the line. They had beast mode sitting right there on the 2-yard line with about 29 seconds left and a timeout. And instead of Pete Carroll putting beast mode in and let him plow down the front line and score and run the clock out, he tries to throw an inside pass to I can't think of who the receiver was. Wasn't even a real name receiver. Personally, you could have got the popcorn guy to run that play.
Bishop, I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in there before we sign off. What was Ray Allen's biggest play in his career?
We're talking pro, right?
The 3-pointer.
Question.
Different game for
where will he be remembered Ray Allen be remembered for?
Well, he has 2, for instances, he'll be remembered, 3 really, that he'll be remembered for. The 3-pointer he hit, I believe, was game 5 or 6 when Boston won their championship. The barrage that he put up against Miami, and if you go back to college, the one-on-one between him and him and Allen Iverson, where he scored the winning bucket for UConn. So he's got 3 of them. Which one you want?
Yeah, but it got to be the one in Miami.
Come on, Bishop.
It's got to be Miami. I would agree.
Larry,
Be the one in Miami.
Larry, what Ray Allen you remember for, Larry?
It was the one in Miami.
One in Miami?
The one in Miami.
Andy, what you say, Andy?
Miami, Miami, because that was on a bigger. It was on a bigger stage. It was there.
Everybody thought it was over.
Yep, and Ray Allen just came out.
It's like Malcolm Butler, same thing.
Yeah, but see, you went from when you asked this question, you went from best game to best moment.
Okay, whatever.
It's the difference.
But to him, that was his greatest game.
No, how you know? How you know that the man might have had? He might have had 3 interceptions in another game.
Because everybody gonna remember that play. They don't care about the reception.
Butler ain't had no more interceptions the whole year.
That's what they're gonna remember him for. His name is a household name because of that.
No, I agree, man. My Simon Cake's getting cold arguing with you. I
Bruce is something else.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Wait, any last one down or we done? We done?
We done. You can put a fork in us. We done.
Make your prediction for game 3, Indiana. I'm going game 3, OKC.
OKC, 3 and 4.
I already told you.
I'm like Michael Jackson. I'm going back to Indiana.
Hey, he went back to Indiana, and what they try to do? None.
Call it out, Bishop.
All right. We thank each and every one of you for coming in. And don't forget, it's not up there on the post, but we want you to keep June 29th in the front of your brain. It's the appreciation service and celebration for Dr. Jerry Green taking place at the New Trinity Temple Church of God in Christ, 285 Dixwell Avenue in the city of New Haven, Connecticut. Doors will open at 2:30 p.m. Service will begin at 3 p.m. We need your face in the place. If this great man has been a blessing to you in any way, shape, form, or fashion over the years, the months, the weeks, and some of you quartets know what I'm talking about. Some of you choirs know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't make me say the words, but I'm going to put it out there so you know. Holler Back Gospel Music Awards, Christian Community Center. Come on now, talk to me here now. So we're going to see you there, and I'm going to expect every last one of you to show up. And please don't come empty-handed. Bring your pocketbook, bring your wallet, borrow your wife, get her credit card. Come with something, not something, something. We need to see your face in the place. That's Jerry Green's Appreciation Celebration, Sunday, June 29th. Father, we thank you for this great day, for these great men and all who have participated, for those who are watching even in this hour, God, who are watching on KMI. Thank you for blessing them and giving them the privilege to just have some fun with us as we talk sports. Now, as we leave this place, but never your presence, continue to walk with us, talk to us, lead us, guide us, guard us, govern us, protect us, and correct us as we move forward into things pertaining to life and godliness. And Father, let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart always be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Right.
All right, you guys.
fellas.
Friday
Go
night.
OKC.